All right, well, live. It is the Over Under podcast. Hello to everybody. This will be a special edition of the Over Under podcast, and it will be the 2021 NFL preview podcast. We will take a look at the NFL win totals first. Then
we have some breaking news already, Joe.
Whoa, what's going on?
Jaylen Brown has been diagnosed with a torn scapular ligament in his left wrist and is expected to have the torn ligament surgically repaired later this week. He will be out the remainder of the season.
Wow.
So season's over for the Celtics.
Wow.
That is yikes.
Left wrist, huh?
Yep.
Well, you know what that means. You can't trade him now, probably, right?
I would assume that means his trade value is going to be lower, and that's probably not a guy you can trade.
I wonder if that's why they were literally had no heart yesterday.
I wonder if that's why Kemba Walker has been out partying in Miami and not caring about the rest of the season.
Oh, well, all right.
So, I mean, that is an interesting way to start the podcast off. But, yeah, this Celtics season is over.
Yeah, it's over.
Yep. Unfortunately,
I was hoping to make a few shekels on a playing game, you know?
I was hoping that they would play someone round one so I could bet against them, but that feels like it's going to be tough now. I mean, they may very well win that 7-8 seed. They may very well get past whoever they have to face in the playing games, but that's it.
Well, anyways, so there's your downer. Shams, Celtics All-Star Jaylen Brown diagnosed with a torn ligament in his left wrist. We'll just leave it at that. Out remainder of the season, and dude, wrist injuries, man. I mean, how long has Romeo Langford been trying to come back from a thumb and a wrist?
Yeah. Luckily he is. Luckily, he has the entire off season. He doesn't have to rush back. They can wait to do anything. So yeah, I mean that sucks. It does. Not that I had a lot of hope for this team, but the season's over.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to stew our thoughts for a little bit on that one, as we do our NFL podcast.
Yeah. So we'll do it in the NFL. we'll start off with win totals. We can get back to the Celtics at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, win totals, playoff props, division winners, conference. I have all the DraftKings app odds.
Awesome. So I will. Why don't we use DraftKings then? We can bang that out.
So let's start with the. So of course, there's the old team futures to make the playoffs, conference winners, win totals. I guess we'll start with the Bears.
Okay, yeah. We'll go alphabetically then. That's fun.
Whose win total is 7.5? I'm curious who the quarterback will be, Andy Dalton or Fields. Probably Dalton to start.
To make the playoffs, yes, plus 163, no, minus 200. And you said the win total was 7.5, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I know that this is a little bit juiced on DraftKings, minus 121 to the under. PP, we'll start it off early. PP, Chicago Bears, under 7.5 wins, wow. Minus 121. Look, this team has been a quarterback away, and, what I can tell you is that they still don't have a quarterback, in my opinion. Justin Fields is not going to be the answer. Andy Dalton is not going to be the answer there. And, with really Allen Robinson basically being the only guy, who offensively really has been really good for them. I mean, Montgomery has been up and down. we didn't see a ton of Cole Kmet last year. I mean, they have a lot of depth on that tight end position, but still Tariq Cohen is coming back from injury, so we'll see what happens there. But I don't love that offense. I think they're almost very similar to what the Patriots were last year, Joe, where you have this really good defense, but offensively you're just going to be challenged. So I'm out on that, and obviously I'm going no on the playoffs as well. I'm not going to PP that because that's stupid. But I'm going under on the 7.5.
So I think their defense is overrated, despite Akeem Hicks being one of the best defensive linemen, and Khalil Mack's still the guy. I know Trevathan's played better. Desmond Trufant's has come over, but their running games. What's interesting to me, David Montgomery, as you mentioned, Tariq Cohen. Actually, sad story about his brother today, if you read that one. Damian Williams actually is someone that they picked up, the old kid from Kansas City. They drafted Khalil Herbert, remember him? And they got CJ Maribal from the old Roosters, Eastern Carolina. Coastal. So hopefully that will upgrade them. Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet, as you mentioned, is still there. I still think their offensive line is weak, despite taking Jenkins at left tackle. The more I look at it, long story short, I'm going to go under, especially in that division. But we'll see what happens with the Packers, right? Because they're still a little up in the air as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do think ultimately the Packers will probably trade Aaron Rodgers, but nonetheless, I don't see them. I mean, I think that they're at best the second best team in that division. If the Packers trade Rodgers, I still think the Packers could potentially be better than them, and I think that Minnesota is definitely better than them. And so, yeah, I would absolutely take Minnesota over them. So yeah, I mean that's not a question to me.
Carolina Panthers 7.5, 130 for the under, plus 107 for the over. You got to look at Sam Darnold right away, right? I mean, there's a history of these guys that leave these Adam Gase offenses and do well. Robbie Anderson, we know what he can do. DJ Moore, they got Terrence Marshall, right? David Moore's another guy that they have. So that could be interesting, but they really don't have a tight end. I think that's always going to be something there. They drafted Tommy Tremble, the tight end from what's his name there, Notre Dame, and Christian McCaffrey's going to come back from his year. They drafted Chuba Hubbard. I wonder if he could make some sort of impact for that team. But overall, they're in the second year. Matt Rule, a lot of things can happen. J.C. Horn, they're obviously their first round pick that they drafted. Shaq Thompson's probably their big guy. The more I look at it, I probably would go under 7.5 here.
Yeah, I feel pretty conflicted. I mean, obviously New Orleans is going to get worse in that division. Tampa Bay is still going to be, the class of that division. It's going to be a very, very competitive division. At the same time, Rule in his second year, I feel better about the roster in general. I feel better about you're going to get Christian McCaffrey. You're hoping is not going to be hurt all season long. So that will improve it. I think Darnold will be a slight upgrade on Bridgewater. I should say Darnold will be an upgrade on Bridgewater. I just don't know. How big of a gap that is, but I do think that that's the case. So, I mean, yeah, listen, I think that this is a team that has a very decent chance of going over that win total. This is going to be a really tough one to play because you don't know. Atlanta's really a wild card in this division. You really don't know what they're going to be like defensively. They had Kyle Pitts, so you don't know what they're going to be like defensively and offensively. To me, I mean, Tampa Bay they're still class. New Orleans probably, 9-10 win football team, even without Drew Brees. I'm going to pass on this one. I think this is a tough one.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers 11.5. Under is plus 110, over 134. I'm going over. Here's why. That undefeated season's what Tom Brady's going for, man. I don't think it will happen, okay? I'll say that first and foremost. But they're going for it. I think they go over 12. I think the division's easier this year. PP it, Dan. Let's ring that bell, baby. Give me the over 11.5 Tampa Bay Bucks.
So there's the over. I'm going to go under. I think it's right near the number. I think it's going to be right on that number. I would never PPA this because it's Tom Brady, and betting against Tom Brady is silly. Obviously, I don't think either of us are going to have any interest in the make the playoff prop here. I don't even know what it is for the Bucks. I'll take a look. Yeah, minus 715. Yes. Again, barring a Brady injury, I don't see them, stepping down. I think they're going to win the division, and I think they'll make somewhat of a playoff run, and we'll kind of see what happens from there. I do think that this team should be, pretty damn good again. Easy schedule, as we've talked about a million times. So we'll see whatever happens.
The 49ers, what is it to make the playoffs for them?
Let's see. To make the playoffs is minus 177.
Ooh. Over, under, the total's at 10.5. So I'm going to go under here, Dan. Maybe a little controversial. I shouldn't say controversial. Maybe some people might question it. The Garoppolo thing's real, man. Is he motivated? Can he be healthy? The Trey Lance thing looking over his shoulder. I think that's all there. Ayuk, Samuel, that's kind of what they're rolling with now. That's their wide receiving core. I don't know if they have another guy. I don't know if they, I just don't know if they have another guy like Mohamed Sanu. But their line will be better. Trent Williams, Alex Mack, McGlinchey, that's all. George Kittle's going to be healthy again. They still have a good running game. So they got Trey Sermon, by the way, from Ohio State in the draft this year, but they still have a good defense. Armstead, Carr, we know about Bosa, Kinlaw, you name them, Warner, all those guys. So they're loaded defensively still. Health, I think, is the biggest question. I'm gonna go under 10.5.
I think it's going to be close. I don't think I would play a side of this one, in my opinion. That would be me. To me, as you just kind of talked about offensively, I think they're going to be better offensively. Garoppolo will be assumingly be back. I don't think they're going to start Trey Lance. Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Trey Sermon, Wayne Gallman. I mean, that is a hell of a backfield combo. This team's going to be ground and pound. Wide receivers, Samuel and Ayuk, if those guys can even stay even remotely healthy this year, even Mohamed Sanu doesn't pan out, you'll expect, a Richie James or Travis Benjamin or one of these guys to make the team and make somewhat of an impact. Defensively, you've obviously just kind of talked about everything. Bringing in Jason Verrett, bring him back off the injury. I do think this team is going to be pretty talented. The problem is the division. And the division continuously gets better. The Rams add Matt Stafford. The Cardinals are another year older. They add J.J. Watt. Again, I know maybe he's not an impact player anymore, but still a very good player. I just think that division continuously gets better and is probably the most competitive division in all of the NFL. Maybe the AFC North is right there too. So I'm going to go under just because of division, and injury worries. But I do understand why someone would take yes. I would take a look at the plus 150 to make the playoffs. I do think there's a little bit of value there.
Other team, you mentioned the Rams, dude. They're at 10.5. So can there be an 11-team winner in this conference? That I'm gonna go no. But you mentioned Stafford, Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson. Now Van Jefferson now takes that role as the outside guy with Robert Woods. Deshaun Jackson comes in on the team. You still got Cooper Kupp in the middle. They drafted the kid Tutu there. So he's gonna be in the mix there. They lose a tight end. So the Tyler Higbee's their guy. They're going to have to find another tight end in there. I know they drafted Jacob Harris, but their defense is going to be the question to me. Aaron Donald, we all know what he can do. Jordan Fuller, people like. their corners. Jalen Ramsey, we know about him. I mean, clearly he's great, but I don't know. On paper, the 49ers look better. But is Stafford the upgrade that they needed over Goff? That's what it's going to come down to.
Okay. Let's first start with their yes, no. So they are rated slightly above the Niners. They are minus 182 yes and plus 149 no for the playoff prop. I do think that this is one of the best teams in the division. I do think that they're probably the second best team. They're probably better than the Niners, just because the lack of offensive depth, I believe, is kind of the issue there. And yes, I have the sniffles. It's allergy season, bro. It's I've been getting killed with allergies. It's in my throat. I got it everywhere. So, anyways, I apologize for that. But yeah, so listen, the Rams adding Matt Stafford. Stafford should be an upgrade over Goff. He really should be. I think you're going to see McVay be able to do a few more things with him than anyone else. But 10.5 wins, again, in that division is really, really tough to handle. There was one team that went over 10.5 last year. That was Seattle. I still feel like this year there'll be one team that does it, but you're not going to see me bet on it. So I'm gonna pass on this team as well. But yeah, that's it.
All right. How about them Pittsburgh Steelers? Dude, it's 8.5. It's dead on, minus 110 both ways. They won too many games last year. And I think we were looking at this over the weekend, like, we're going to have to take a team out to add a team in, right, to make the playoffs. They're the team I'm taking out. Browns, Ravens, probably better, right? Can they get to 9 wins? I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I'm going to say no as well. I feel like the drafting of a running back in the first round is going to be really one of this team's main downfalls. You had a lot of really good offensive, O-line options. You didn't take a guy until round 3. Asking a third-round lineman to make an impact on your team is really, really tough. And I know that obviously the Patriots did it with Onwenu last year. I'm just, it's not something you normally want to ask for a later round rookie to make an impact. Well, we obviously saw what happened last year when that line fell apart. I think that you're going to see some similar issues for that team this year. I very much lean under. Not going to PP it, but I do think that Mike Tomlin is pretty much going to be on the chopping block after the season, because I do think this is going to be his last year. So we'll see what happens, and everything going forward there.
The line's ugly, people. Look at it. Wuma, Dotson, Hassenauer is the kid they got from San Fran. DeCastro obviously has been there. And Ben, I don't know. Ebron, another year with him, vomit. They got Freiermuth. You mentioned the Najee. I think Benny Snell is going to be their guy, and I'm curious if Anthony McFarland can make an impact at all. But they think it's going to be Najee and whatever. They still have questions on defense. Joe Hayden's been there fucking forever, right? At some point,
listen, Najee Harris might make a difference, but again, it's just like I don't think he's going to be great. The offense is going to be good. It's just they struggled. Roethlisberger and that offense struggled when there was no time to throw the football. And again, I look at the offensive line. I say, okay, well, Okorafor is going to be fine, and Dotson's fine, and DeCastro's fine, but Banner is a question mark, and Green is really bad. It's a rough team. It's a rough offensive team. Defensively, they're still really good, Joe. I mean, they stay healthy. They should be really, really good. I know Joe Hayden's been there forever, but defensively, they're loaded still. They are.
Next team on the board is the New England Patriots. The odds to make the playoffs, I believe, are plus 125. So you have to subtract a team to add a team. That's what I'm doing. I'm subtracting the Steelers. I'm adding the Patriots. The win total's 9. It's 9.5 at some places. No matter what, you're going to have to pay juice on it, or VIG for those who don't know.
Yep.
So right now the VIG's minus 134. So $134 gets you 100. Is it worth paying the $30 or whatever, Dan? To me, I'm going over 9. If it pushes, I push. I just think the defense is good. They have last year they couldn't stop a nosebleed on the run from the outside. They could not stop anything on the outside. It didn't help their offense. Their offense had major problems. I still think Cam Newton's an issue. Give me over 9 wins.
I like the over 9, but I'm not going to play it. I think that playing it is dangerous, and I think honestly you're asking to lose there. If there's something fluky that happens, they go 8-9 instead of 9-8. I think it's right on the number, but it's just not a number I'm interested in playing. I'm going to pass on the Patriots. I think that they finish at 9 wins or 10 wins. It's just not the one that I want.
Hardest one for me is the Baltimore Ravens. The line's 10.5. Check out this over. Minus 155. So I'm not betting it because of that, Jim. Right off the bat. I'm not getting any value. Plus, what else if they win 10 games? The hook. There's no value, but just their team is different. Sammy Watkins. Now Hollywood Brown and Rashard Bateman, that's going to be interesting, right? If those two guys can be right on the outside, they got something. And then they got Tylan Wallace, dude, late, in the 4th round.
Yep.
They got something. If those 3 dudes can somehow put it together, holy crap.
They also signed Sammy Watkins, too.
So, I was going to say, Watkins is going to be the pure outside guy.
Yeah,
so,
Miles Boykin's still there. Devin Duvernay is still there. James Prochet. This team has some wide receiver depth now. Running backs with Dobbins, who how much I love him, and Edwards, Justice Hill. I really think that they've put together a really competitive team. Adding Alejandro Villanueva to the line, wow. It does suck, obviously. Moving someone off the line, but bringing in Villanueva, your line issue shouldn't drop much from Orlando Brown. I like the defense, obviously. We've talked about the defense. There's not a chance of going under on this team. I like this team. I really do. And I think Bateman, and I'm telling you, I think Wallace is going to be a pretty good player, a pretty good pro. I was a big fan of him at Oklahoma State. So I think that, between these guys, I think that they're going to be, pretty good. I can't go under this Baltimore team as much as I want to. I just think that they're built to be an offensive and defensive just bully. And I think that they're built that way. And I think that is going to, help them throughout the season. And I think there'll probably be a better playoff team than regular season team, but I'm still not going to take the under.
Surprisingly, on the secondary between Marcus Peters, they still got Jimmy Smith on that team. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Tavon Young and Marlon Humphrey. That's, and I still think their secondary is a little weak. But they drafted what's the kid's name? Oh my God, I can't say his name. What the hell's the kid's name they drafted there? Jason Owe from Penn State. What the hell?
Yep. Odafe Owe.
I feel like they're gonna he's gonna replace the whole Judon loss, and I don't know. Yep. I think Judon will be a nice player for the Patriots. It just they gave him a boatload of money.
They did.
The Detroit Lions. So I'm interested. This is a team I'm really interested in. People crap on Campbell. I kind of like his style.
You are. I don't know why you like him.
Well, here's the deal. I like his style as it's old school. He's a guy I want to run through a wall for. He's a guy I think I'd like to play for. But this league is different now. This league is about massaging egos. Feeding guys who need the ball. It's the league's different. And I wonder sometimes, do these older coaches sometimes struggle with that? But I look at what they did. I think Sewell was a hell of a draft pick. That's their line. That they got Ragnow locked up. So, Goff's their guy. They're going with Swift and Williams, right? That's That's what they're doing right now. They let go. I still can't believe Kerryon Johnson, but whatever. It's over with. Can TJ Hawkinson take that next step? So I'm still a little, but I think their defense will be better. Like Trey Flowers is going to be more healthy this year. They get Brockers. Like I just think they're going to be better. Jamie Collins now. The more I look at it, I think they're going to be better. They drafted Melifonwu as another corner. I just think they're going to be better.
I don't. I think they're going to be pretty much the same or worse. I don't feel comfortable playing the under, being how low it is. So I'm going to avoid it, and also the fact that if Rodgers moves, there you might add a win to the schedule. Jeff Okudah is in the second year, and that's great. And the defense, I think, is pretty good, but the offense to me is just it's a mess. The offensive line is good, but after that, you have a massive downgrade at quarterback. DeAndre Swift, again, can he stay healthy? That's always been the question with him. I struggle to believe that DeAndre Swift will stay healthy for a long time. Jamal Williams is a nice back, but he's not a starter in the league. Tyrell Williams, Brashard Perryman, and Quintus Cephas are your starters. Maybe Geronimo Allison factors in. I mean, you're talking about a Patriots level wide receiving core last year. If one of those guys goes down, it's just really bad. TJ Hawkinson to me has been fine, but nothing special. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. It's not a terrible team, but offensively, I struggle to see what they're going to do. Jared Goff struggled with guys like Robert Woods and like the offense that he had there, Cam Akers late in the season. Like it was a ridiculous offense. Cooper Kupp, blanking on whoever else they had a large amount of offensive weapons in there. And now he's downgrading significantly. And his team is just significantly worse. And now there's going to be more pressure on him to do stuff. I don't know. To me, this just feels like it's a natural disaster in Detroit. I would prefer to take the under. I just again, it's a little too low for my liking.
I should probably start by saying I should be consistent by fading all the new coaches this year as well.
Yep.
So over 5 at 130, I probably won't play it because it's juicy. Speaking of that, the Philadelphia Eagles with a new coach. Over under 6.5. So, weird number right off the bat for me. The division is always on the line, right? I mean, doesn't it always seem like end of the year, somebody could sneak in at the end. Devontae Smith's obviously their first round pick. He's going to play with Rager, who was their number 1 draft pick last year. Oh, that's scary because you hope one of those guys works out, right? Both risks. Oh man, both risks.
Yep.
Oh, God. They drafted Landon Dickerson, a center that they didn't need in the second round. Jalen Hurts. Joe Flacco's the backup. And they still got the whole, the Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, that whole. Oh, they got Kerryon Johnson. We'll see what happens with him. And then I know they lost some pieces on defense. Fletcher Cox still the man. They have some pieces there. Oh, Dan, looking at this right now and talking about it, I'm leaning under 6.5.
I think I am too. Expecting Jalen Reagor to take the leap, maybe. Devonta Smith, how I feel. I think he's too small to play the NFL. I do. And I know everyone says, oh, he's special talent, yada, yada. I think he's too small. But you still have Reagor. Fulgham obviously showed something last year. Greg Ward has at times. Arcega Whiteside, whatever the fuck. Arcega, whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Whiteside. You're hoping he gives you something. I like the Kerryon Johnson edition. I think he gives you a different type of back than you've had with Miles Sanders and Boston Scott there. I think he gives you more of an in-between the tackles guy, which I very much like. I do think the Landon Dickerson draft pick was a good pick just because Kelsey's old, man, and I think you can kind of plug Dickerson in at either the guard positions or the center position. Mm-hmm. They just had so many injuries in that offensive line. Defensively, they're okay. Obviously their defensive line obviously is the strength of that defense with Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. Hargrave was great last year. The linebackers are going to be interesting with Singleton, Wilson, and Bradley. The corners, to me, I think Darius Slay's still good, maybe slightly even underrated at this point. I think this team is okay. Real question is going to be a quarterback. Does Jalen Hurts give you what you saw last year, or is this going to be, a massive drop off from where you were? And man, I am a little worried about potential drop off. I really am. Not a team I'm really interested in playing, but I think this team may end up being the worst team in the division. Very, very potentially be the worst team in the division or the best team in the division. Like, it's really going to all depend on the development of Reagor and Devonta Smith and what Jalen Hurts does. And I know that that's saying a lot, obviously, but I just think that this is a team where you really want to stay away from the win total. If you really like the Eagles to potentially make it run the division because the division's so bad, yes, to make the playoffs is plus 260. That's not a terrible look. I'd actually go that way instead of the win total because I could see. I mean, I guess you probably need 7 wins in that division, but I'd rather go yes to make the playoffs in that division than I think the win total, to be honest with you.
Well, we'll get more into the NFCs in a little bit here. So, the Miami Dolphins, damn. I think 3 teams from some division's going to make it. I think I'm going to go over 9, but I don't like the minus 143. Here's the thing, right? Look at this team. Just like if we're playing Madden, right?
Yep.
Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, Lynn Bowden Jr., then you got all the Albert Wilson and Alan Hearns, Isaiah Ford. You got all these receivers, right? Malcolm Perry, remember him? So, and your line's fine. You drafted Eckenberg. You draft Hunter Long to go with Mike Gesicki. Now, Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the question. They bring in Jacoby Brissett to be the backup. Myles Gaskin had a hell of a year last year. They bring in the bruiser and Malcolm Brown. You know what I mean? So, their offense I think can move the ball if slowly. I don't want to go too crazy, but slowly I think they can move the ball around. I think their defense, they lost some guys, but I like what Christian Wilkinson can do. They draft Jalen Phillips. Javon Holland, I think, will be a starting safety for them. They still got Brandon Jones, Xavier Howard. Now, the nickel might be an issue, but overall, I think they are a good team. I think they're definitely a team that's on the rise.
I mean, yes, I do think so. It's all gonna depend on the quarterback, because if they don't have a quarterback who can really do anything for them, then it really doesn't matter. Like, if Tua can't do anything for them, then it just doesn't matter. So I do think that this is going to be an issue where you're going to have to rely on a lot of what you did well last year, which was rely on your defense to run the football and kind of go from there. That being said, you lost a lot off that defense, and I look at that defense and say, it's okay. You're relying a lot on younger players. I mean, Eric Rowe as your starting safety is a problem.
Well, that's why I think dude's going to move over there, Javon Holland.
Yeah, well, Holland's probably your starting free safety. I mean, again, I wonder. It's just they're a problem. They're a problem. They are a problem, and I don't know, man. To me, it's a really big problem. That defense isn't going to be nearly as good as it was last year, and offensively, I like the addition of Will Fuller. Again, I feel about Waddle. I didn't love any of the top guys this year, but I do like I don't mind Waddle. I don't know, dude. I don't love this team this year. I think that they may end up being worse than the Patriots. The running game is a question. The quarterback is a question. Will Fuller's immediately suspended already,
That's true.
and he might be hurt, because he always gets hurt. I like the wide receiver depth. I like Lynn Bowden. I like Parker. I like Preston Williams. Like Waddle. Jakeem Grant's like their sixth wide receiver there. Mac Hollins did something. Gesicki's good. It's just they just have a lot of questions for a team that has a lot of high expectations, and it's a little concerning.
They're a team that might not be worth the risk to put money on. So I'll agree with you on that one. How about the Cincinnati Bengals? Joe Burrow's coming back. He showed life. They draft Jamar Chase. We all remember that game. In the college playoff when he had 6 touchdowns or whatever it was. But between T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, you're on your feet. You're a defense. I still think they need to find a tight end, dude. I don't. I got Thaddeus Moss. They have him in the mix now.
He's not a legitimate option.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Azoma, they need a guy, a tight end is the way I look at it. But they got better on defense. They got the kid from Texas. Joe, what is it? Asai.
Signed Trey Hendrickson, who is a good addition.
Exactly. Can they be better than Pittsburgh? Because they beat them last year.
I mean, yeah, probably not. I mean, probably not. They're probably not better than Pittsburgh. They're probably the 4th best team in this division again. Burrow's coming off a major knee injury. It's kind of hard to imagine him taking a step forward and not taking some time to get back. I really don't like Jamar Chase as a player. Really don't like him. Don't think he's going to be good at the next NFL level. Not a fan of him at all. Obviously, I like Boyd Higgins. Auden Tate showed you a little bit a couple years ago. I think tight end they're okay. Drew Sample, Uzamoa, I mean they're okay. Running back, I'd like to see them add maybe a backup there, but again, I think that you're kind of nitpicking a backup running back. I think they're a good team. I do. I just the division. I think Baltimore outplays them. I think Cleveland outplays them. I think they lose. If you're at best, I think you're hoping for 2 wins in that division. If you're the Bengals, 2, and I think that's the best case scenario. So I don't know, man. I'm going under there. I don't feel you're not going to beat Pitt or anything, but I feel pretty okay with saying I like the under, and I think I'd probably stick with that. 6.5 is I think I'll go under 6.5.
All right. Ready for this one? Hold on to your butts. Under 9 wins, New Orleans Saints.
You PPing that?
PP, baby.
All right.
Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, Ian Book. Vomit.
I mean, I thought Taysom Hill played okay. I really thought Taysom Hill was okay at times last year, and that team was okay at times last year with Taysom Hill. I mean, they weren't great. If Jameis Winston is your starter, it's the problem. But think about everything that happened to them last year, man. Drew Brees gets hurt. Michael Thomas goes down. Emmanuel Sanders gets hurt. You lose half your defense. I mean, they had serious injury issues, and they still ended up winning 12 games. I know what happened in the playoffs, obviously, but you know
who they have on their team? Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah, your boy Jordan, your little boy, Lil Jordan Humphrey.
I haven't mentioned him in over a year.
I mean, offensively, Michael Thomas, Tre'Quan Smith, and Marquez Callaway really is not a bad trio. Thomas, you have to expect is going to be healthier than last year. Running back wise, again, Latavius Murray, Alvin Kamara, you still have some depth there. The offensive line is very good. The defense, assuming that they are healthy, Pete Warner is going to be an interesting replacement there, but still, their defense is good. Peyton Turner, we both talked about on Saturday. We think he's going to be a good player out of Houston. I look at this team and say, I think they're about a 9-win team. I do. I know that division's tough, but yeah, I still think they're about a 9-win team. I still think the over is the side for me.
All right, it's a fade for me, everybody. It's just Yeah, you lose your star quarterback for a whole season, and then it's not all roses, everybody. It's that's something for me. The Colts, Dan, a lot of expectations, right? They made the playoffs last year with an aging quarterback. They reunite, obviously, the coach and the quarterback with Carson Wentz. Pittman, a year newer. Pittman had, remember that drop he had on the playoffs? Woof. T.Y. Hilton's back, though. I think receiver, like, they're fine. Okay. Running backs, Jonathan Taylor should take the next step, you hope. Wilkins, Marlon Mack, all those guys. All right. Jack Doyle's still there. They got the kid Granson in the draft. So I'm not worried offensively about them. Can they get better on defense? Now, again, DeForest Buckner, Kwity Paye, could he be somebody? They've been trying to get a edge rusher, it feels like, for years. Obviously Leonard, they got a couple of years ago. Xavier Rhodes back for another year. The more I look at them, I think they're well coached. I think of the division. I think Titans. Right? And so I look at that win total and I say, well, 10 is being nice. The under is 134. I think they can win 10 games. I don't think they go over 10.
I'm not going to PP it, but I strongly lean to the under on this team. I don't have high expectations for Carson Wentz. I don't think Carson Wentz is a very good quarterback. I think that he's done. I think the injury hurt him and reset his career. And I think that the Colts going out there and getting him is not a bad move because they need a quarterback, but I just think that he's the wrong guy. I don't think he's going to be very good this year. And because of that, I think that he's going to struggle, man. I really do. I think that he's going to have a rough year. And I think that whole team offensively will struggle because he's struggling. Now, again, I like the players that he has around him. I like Jonathan Taylor as a running back. I like Michael Pittman as a wide receiver. The problem is after Pittman, like T.Y. Hilton really showed his age last year. He slowed down. Paris Campbell was Zach Pascal, Like you don't have a ton of depth there. Tight end, Mo Alley Cox and Jack Doyle. Are they going to get it done again? You just bring in Eric Fisher to be your left tackle. He might not come back till October. So that offensive line is going to be a question. And I do like the defense. Again, we continue to talk about the defenses, but again, the defense was fantastic last year. I think they'll be fantastic again this year. It's just it's a lot to expect your defense to play continuously well without a lot of big name guys. They have a lot of good good defensive players and good depth, but I felt like they had a lot of players play over their head last year. I don't expect that to happen this year. I feel pretty confident when saying under 10. I'm not going to PP it, but I do think under 10 is the way to go with the Colts. And again, maybe I'm reading the division incorrectly. Maybe I am. I think that is going to be the worst division in the AFC this year. I do.
All right. Falcons are 7.5. Sneaky team here. Generally, I'd go under. Generally, I do. I think the division's going to be worse. I think it's Bucks, and that's it. You know what concerns me? Are they going to trade Julio? And the other thing is this. Like, who's going to run the football for them? Mike Davis?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be Mike Davis and Cordarrelle Patterson, which is really interesting. Davis was really good last year. When he had a chance to be the guy, he was really, really good. That being said, that offense, the Carolina offense, was running back focused, and this offense is not with Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones, and now throwing Kyle Pitts into that mix. So it's going to be a totally different type of offense. We don't know how Davis is going to succeed in that offense. I look at this and just say, the Falcons are that team. The problem has really been their health, and you just don't know what you're going to get out of them health-wise. And then you don't know what's going to happen with Julio. Of course, it feels like this team every year in and out is just a very confusing team to try and bet on. And I'm not going to try and bet on it this year. I will tell you, if Julio is traded, they're in serious trouble. But
they need salary cap space too.
Yeah, they do. I just I don't I think this team should be okay. And I think the division will be worse with the Saints, but I think the Panthers will ultimately get better with Matt Rule in his second year, an upgraded quarterback, Christian McCaffrey back. So again, I take a look at the team and say, yeah, again, not a team I think that has a lot of edge. I think the number is about right.
Interested in Kyle Pitts. So is he just another addition to the offense, or is he a game changer?
Yeah, I mean, if Pitts has a big impact, then yes, that could be game changing. But again, I'm going to keep repeating it. Don't love the offensive options at the top of last year's draft.
All right, Dan, break down the Buffalo Bills for me.
I mean, at 11, it's heavily juiced at 11 under. I think this team could go either way, man. I really do. I think that this is a team that continuously has one of the, better defenses in football. And, they really have it again this year. I mean, the safety duo, Poyer and Hyde, is one of the best in the league. Tremaine Edmonds was really, really good last year. The defensive line was really, really good last year. I think the question marks are going to come with the running game and the quarterback. Now, Josh Allen was awesome last year. Can he maintain that same level of play? If he can't, there's going to be a real problem for the team. If Allen is really, really good again, then yeah, you're looking at an 11, 12 win team because they're just going to be able to beat teams. I mean, you add Emmanuel Sanders to that wide receiver group, taking away John Brown. Gabriel Davis, I think, played a big role there. I think he'll continue to do that. Dawson Knox really started to come into his own at the end of the year. The offensive line is going to have problems, but again, they seemingly placed people together well last year. I don't love the team. I want to take the under, but again, it really depends on how you feel about the quarterback. Running back Zach Moss and Matt Breida eventually might overtake Singletary. I mean, really, we've seen Singletary in the league for a couple of years. I don't love the player. I think at some point maybe Moss and Breida probably overtake him, possibly, but the running game is the running game. They'll get what they get. They don't have a superstar running back there, and that's okay. I just again, it's going to be Josh Allen. If you think Josh Allen's going to be good this year, take the over and don't question it. If you think Josh Allen is going to struggle a little bit this year, then you know where you're going. You know exactly where you're going. So that's the way that I read it, Joe.
I think they're going to need production from Emmanuel Sanders and Matt Breida. You mentioned Moss and Singletary. They don't really have like a dynamic. And I really don't want to call Breida dynamic, but he has been. But like they need Sanders and Breida to give them something different to that team, right? You know what Diggs is going to do. Davis is always the other guy, right? And then Cole Beasley's can he be healthy for a whole year? That's another question. Yep. So that's why I think if Emmanuel Sanders can rise to that, rise and be the guy, like that's going to make them a lot better. And then I don't know, what is Matt Breida? Like I know he got hurt last year. He could be a guy that can catch the ball and run at times. So, and we remember Zach Moss got hurt at the end of the year.
Yep.
So that's just two guys. The other thing with them, just quickly. So I'm gonna just say over because I think that like they're perennial at this point. Like they should be winning the AFC East. We should have high expectations. My thing is that I look at that defense, Dan. Just think of these names: Jerry Hughes, Ed Oliver, Greg Russo, who they just drafted, Star Lotulelei, AJ Epinesa, like Jordan Poyer, these are huge names that come from college.
Tre'Davious White,
another, you know what I mean? But like these are like big names, and they're all on the team. But it's like, can they put it all together? Because they got the talent, man. Carlos Basham, like that's another dude that can play. You know what I mean? Like they have talent everywhere. can they put it together? Rashard Wildgoose is another dude that can play corner. Like, they have talent everywhere. Can they put it together? Because I don't think they put it together last year, man.
I think they did a little bit, but they didn't fully do it. Again, I think Allen will be good. I don't think that Allen is going to take a step back. Unfortunately, I think I was just wrong about the player, and I think that he's here to stay. So I think that he'll take a step forward again this year, and he'll be a really good player. I think the team is going to get 11 wins. I would be surprised if they didn't. I think they'll win the division. I want them to not, but I'm going to take them, and I'll lean the over. I'll lean the over too.
New York Jets 6.5 under, fading a rookie coach.
Yeah, I'm gonna PP the under there too.
But I will say this though, their receiving core is better. Like Corey Davis is with Denzel Mims should be an improvement to them. Like they've got Jamison Crowder, like they've gotten better. Elijah Moore, dude. Like they've gotten better at receiver. They drafted the kid Vera Tucker, but it's the Zach Wilson show, baby.
Yeah, I mean, again, wide receiver, Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, Elijah Moore, Keelan Cole, Braxton Berrios, Jeff Smith. So you're probably going to have to lose some of those guys. You can't keep everyone. Crowder might end up going. Here's the problem. You're going to get a 0 again at tight end. Chris Herndon gives you nothing. We learned that last year. Tyler Kroft gives you nothing. Ryan Griffin gives you very little.
I know.
Excuse me. Elijah Vera Tucker, rookie, you're hoping that he's good. But the other side of that line, George Fant was not great last year. He was Van Roten. So, it is what it is. Corner-wise, defensively, CJ Mosley's back, but, there's a lot of talk about cutting him. And I don't know, man. I don't see it defensively still. I just don't see it. Like, I don't think there's a whole lot of talent there. I think you're plugging in more names than you are actual talent. Like LaMarcus Joyner is no longer the player he was. Same with CJ Mosley. Jared Davis, another guy. Carl Lawson. It's guys who maybe have bigger names than actual playing. And I feel very similar about this team. Like they upgraded a wide receiver. Absolutely. I agree with that. But the line still has a lot of questions. The tight end position's a question. Tevin Coleman at running back. Like, is that really an answer for you? If you can't run, he really hasn't been a good, a running back like that solves answers. I don't know. I'm low on this team, and again, I think the division between Buffalo, Miami, and New England got significantly better this offseason. So no, I'm going under again.
Cleveland Browns, Dan, playoff team, loaded. I just kind of mentioned how Buffalo has all this talent. Forget about the offense for a second. Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, Denzel Ward, Grant Delpit. They draft Greg Newsome in the first round. Greedy Williams is like their stuff. Troy Hill, like, dude, they're loaded.
Yeah.
They are Malik Jack. Like, they still got all these guys. And then you look at their offense, right? Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Austin Hooper had a really good year. And David Njoku improved last year. Like, he improved. They went out Odell Beckham. You know what I'm saying? But, like, Jarvis Landry, Peoples-Jones, Rashad Higgins was huge. They drafted Anthony Schwartz. Like, they got Ryan. Like, the team is good. Like, to me, so you know how, like, we kind of been on the Browns the last couple of years? The total here is 10.5. The slight lean is on the under. I don't think so. I don't know if I want to bet 11 wins, but you are giving us an extra game this year. So give me plus 107 over 10.5 wins, Cleveland Browns.
You PPing that?
EP, baby.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I think that, this Browns team is going to be really good again. I very much agree with you, Joe. They're a fucking good team. They're loaded on the offensive side of the ball. They're loaded on the defensive side of the ball. Austin Hooper, Harrison Bryant, and Njoku at tight end might just be like the deepest tight end group in football. Odell, I mean, the thing is, I think they need to find another wide receiver. I think they do need to see if they can get, sign a camp body or someone else who maybe gets cut later in June, because I think the wide receivers is their biggest lack of depth. But Nick Chubb was hurt last year. Kareem Hunt, those guys were all hurt off and on. It's going to be about health for this team. And if this team stays healthy, then I think they really have a chance to be a very competitive team in the AFC, maybe a Super Bowl contender, honestly. But it's really going to come down to the health of the team. And can they stay healthy? What can they do? Obviously Odell Beckham hasn't really been Odell Beckham in Cleveland. We're going to find out, what he can really do this year. The team was better without him last year. Is that a trend that, moving forward is the case? On paper, a very good team, just not a team I'm looking to bet on right now. That's all.
Washington, are they going to come up with a team name or what?
I believe that they're looking into a team name, yes.
Total win totals 8, slightly juiced on the over. We know Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to run the show with Antonio Gibson and McKissick. And then, of course, they have the great Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin. Like, they had a good team, man. They're a playoff team. I think it comes to the defense with Chase Young. 8 wins, though, Dan. That division.
I mean, listen, it's gonna be a team that I think you have to seriously think about taking to be a playoff team. Like, I think you have to seriously consider them being a playoff team, and we're gonna find out real quick what this team is early on. In my personal opinion, okay, I think we're gonna find out really early on what this team is. Fitzpatrick at quarterback is an upgrade. Taylor Heineke, is going to be helpful there. I like Gibson out of the backfield. Adding to the wide receiver room and Curtis Samuel, Adam Humphries is going to be really important to them. If Humphries can stay healthy, that's big. Logan Thomas again really came on as a tight end last year. Their defense, obviously, you saw when Chase Young is playing at a high level. Oh boy! And adding Kendall Fuller to that team is it's very impressive. I like this team a lot. I really do. I think that this is a perennial playoff team. Give me the over 8. Over 8.
There it is.
Yep.
There it is. The Denver Broncos, Dan. I mean, I guess right now, if you think another report today about Aaron Rodgers, the over is minus 150. So I'm out. But 8.5, Dan, I don't know. Okay, well, if Rodgers is the QB, the number is moving, so you probably get a minus 110, 120. But what's funny is when they did they went around the league, right, and they looked at talent on rosters, and somehow the Broncos were the 7th best roster. I like Tim Patrick. I think Jerry Jeudy has to take the next step, like Sutton, Hamler. We know all these guys, right? They're running. They drafted Javonte Williams, so they're gonna have to get a lot out of him. They still got Melvin Gordon. Royce Freeman really hasn't been the guy they've wanted him to be. But looking at their defense, like Von Miller is coming back from that COVID. Between Kareem Jackson, Kyle Fuller, you mentioned it, Ronald Darby, this is a nice team. But the quarterback.
I was looking at Kyle Fuller, and for whatever reason, I thought it was a football team, but he went to the Broncos. I don't know why I messed that up. Yep.
All good. So I just think the team that they're a talented team, man. Drew Lock's the question. Teddy, we saw Brett Rippon before. Teddy Bridgewater's the backup. I mean, is it worth talking about this team right now?
I mean, it's not worth betting the over. There's no value there. There's no value to make the playoffs at this point. It's just a team that you can't really bet on, but we can break it down. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of this team, we're discussing it. This team is a legit Super Bowl contender. I mean, defensively, they added a ton of talent. Kyle Fuller, Pat Surtain, Ronald Darby. That's one of the best corner trios in the league. I think Pat Surtain is going to be a nasty player in this league for a while. You bring back Von Miller. I think that this team is going to be really, really, really good. no offense and booping on him. I can't remember. I cannot pronounce his name. Albert Obukanum.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice try. I liked it. Nice try.
Okay, try. The only thing that concerns me is the running back depth. I don't like Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, as much as he was a nice player in college. I don't love him at the pro level. But, if you can find, something in the running game there, then I think you're going to be really good because you have some legitimate depth at wide receiver. Sutton, Hamler, Judy, Patrick. Seth Williams is another guy that they brought in this year too.
Yeah.
I like Seth Williams out of Auburn. I think Teddy Bridgewater will ultimately be the quarterback if they don't trade for Aaron Rodgers. But I do think that I do think that this team, unfortunately, you can't bet it just because of the massive movement on it because of the Rodgers rumors. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we should wait on that one. Tennessee Titans. So they're a team to me, the Titans. I feel like they lost a lot of talent. They're going to look a little different. You pull up their depth chart here, like AJ Brown, and then what?
I mean, Josh Reynolds was a good wide receiver with LA, and I think moving him to the second role there is probably not a bad idea. It's after that that's the problem. I mean, you got AJ Brown, you got Josh Reynolds, and really that's it. Cody Hollister didn't give you anything. Marcus Johnson hasn't given you anything. Chester Rogers hasn't given you anything. None of these guys have really done anything in the NFL. So you have to hope you're going to end up getting, something else there. They're going to feed the ball to Derrick Henry a lot. And obviously with Darrington Evans and Jeremy McNichols still on there. Tight end, you lose a ton. Ferkser should step in to be the number one tight end, but still losing Jonnu Smith is tough. They did lose a lot, but again, defensively, they're right there. Signing Bud Dupree.
Bud Dupree's big.
Adding Caleb Farley to go with Christian Fulton, Janoris Jenkins. I think they have a pretty damn good defense still. It's going to come on the offense side of the ball, what Ryan Tannehill can do with the lack of offensive talent that is there. It's AJ Brown and Derrick Henry and maybe Josh Reynolds, and the rest of it is really, we're going to find out. We're going to find out what Ferkser really is. Is he a number 2 tight end who, got the benefit last year, or is he a number 1 tight end? And what exactly they're going to do at the third wide receiver spot. So
I'm a fade here, Dan. Under 9 plus 115 PP.
You're gonna under 9?
Going under 9 plus 115.
All right.
Plus money, baby.
Yeah, I'll go over with this team. I'll go over. I still think that they're still very good in that division. Again, division is a mess. The whole division is a mess. So
Seattle Seahawks are 9.5. I already don't like it, but there is an extra game. Of course, the division's always there, but DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, they drafted the kid Eskridge, who's been pretty good.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know how much improved they are there, but, the running game has been interesting to me over the last couple of years. Chris Carson, Rashid Penny, and then last year they went with Carlos Hyde a ton. But the more I look at it, where are they truly improved? Where they got another wide receiver, but where are they truly improved here?
I think they've improved the offensive line, adding Gabe Jackson, tight end position, adding Gerald Everett. I think that those are two pretty good additions. Defensively, I still think they have a lot of holes, but they add Pierre Desir. I think they're trying defensively. They're still not fully there yet. We're going to find out maybe what LJ Collier is this year, if he can break through and kind of give them anything. Offensively, I mean, it's the Russell Wilson show, man. I mean, if Carson can stay healthy this year, he'll be really, really good. I don't know what you're going to get out of Rashad Penny and Travis Homer. I mean, you may end up having to find another back during the season. And honestly, if your third wide receiver is Freddie Swain, I think you're in trouble there too. So I think they need to go out and find another wide receiver, find another running back, get a little bit depth at those positions, and then kind of figure out and go from there. So we'll see. I lean under on this team. I do.
Jacksonville Jaguars, 6.5. Rookie coach, rookie QB. Give me the under 6.5.
BP, and this is my biggest play of the year. Jacksonville Jaguars under 6.5. Look, this is easy. All right. Everyone loves Trevor Lawrence. Everyone's going to go over on this team. Rookie coach, rookie quarterback, brand new system, drafting a running back in the first round. Signing guys like Tim Tebow to be character guys in your team. I mean, honestly, look, I loved Urban Meyer as a coach in college. He's clearly not cut out for the NFL level. And I know they added Marvin Jones and they have DJ Chark and Marvin Jones and Chenault, and that's a really good, trio for wide receivers. But I don't know, man. Colin Johnson's a good player too. They don't feel like they're there. Like they don't have a single tight end, really, an NFL tight end on their roster, but they have 3 NFL running backs. I don't do drafting Travis Etienne when you have so many holes defensively. I mean, Jared Wilson, you're starting free safety. Joe Sherman, Myers, Jackson were fine. She has owned the defensive line with Taven Bryan and Roy Robertson Harris. They added Malcolm Brown, but again, this team just defensively has so many issues still. And CJ Henderson was okay last year. Just the wide receivers and the running backs are the strength of this team, not the offensive line, which is a problem. Not the tight end spot, not the defense. Like I guess corner is probably the strength in your defense. Corner, wide, and linebacker. They have so many issues and so many holes. It just doesn't feel like this is going to be a good team this year, and the college coach doesn't help either. And I'm out. I'm out on this team. I think this team is going to be a 4, 5, 6 win team max. So go give me the under.
Anybody that I have some sort of emotional attachment to, we should fade at the next level. Like Mo Wagner, right? Little Jordan Humphrey, just all those guys. Like. Urban Meyer was one of those guys, Yeah. I will say this, though. If there is a prop bet for Tim Tebow to throw a touchdown pass over under half, I'm going over.
That's fair. I'll tell you that bookmakers disliked the Jaguars so much today that after the Tim Tebow signing, they made him 125 to 1 to win the Super Bowl when they were 101 before.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's just, again, but I think the concept is this team is a joke. This team is a joke. And, they're making moves beside, adding like Team Tebow, that's embarrassing. Honestly, it's embarrassing to do that shit. So
it's a fucking show, buddy.
Yep. That's how I feel.
Yeah. New York Giants. Interesting one for me. So I want to take the over, Dan. It's 7. It's slightly juiced. I want to take the over. I'm not going to because I don't know if I trust it yet. But Darius Slayton came along. Kenny Galladay is the big pick. Kadarius Toney's there, like Sterling Shepard, John Ross. They have guys they can throw the football to. Evan Ingram, like these guys, Kyle Rudolph. These guys can all catch the football. What's the story with Saquon Barkley? Devontae Booker is their second back. Like, I think that's somewhere they need to improve on as running back. Good thing they didn't do it in the draft, but I think they're pretty good defensively. Like, this is a team. Blake Martinez, I thought, was awesome, by the way. But anyways, this team here, I like them. I like what they're building. It's a it's kind of like the Brian Flores effect year 2, So I like what they're doing. 7 wins, I think, is on the number, but I want to take the over, but I'm not going.
And it really comes down to the quarterback, right? What are you going to get out of Daniel Jones? Can he get the ball to these guys? Because a wide receiver group of Galladay, Shepard, Slayton, and Toney, it's and John Ross is also in that group. Dante Pettis in that group. There's a lot there. It's just the quarterback really has to, get the ball to them. And it starts with the offensive line, who I still think is, shaky at best. We'll see what Andrew Thomas does this year. Nate Solder's returning. The tight end, you add Kyle Rudolph too. So I mean, you have a lot of offensive. You have a lot of offensive options. Defensively, again, I think that they're strong defensively. We know about that. They have good special teams. I don't love the Azeez Ojulari pick to Georgia, but I mean, it is what it is. The team is good. Let's just, again, the quarterback is going to decide everything for this team. And I don't like the quarterback. So that's a problem. That's a real problem, for wanting to play an over. And I don't think that I can.
I just started looking at our chat. I assume they're talking about the Giants defense is trash.
Yes. Well, I think they were talking about the Jaguars earlier, but
okay. I don't know. I kind of I like what the Giants are doing. We'll see. How about the Chargers, Dan? New coach, 9 wins. They won 7 last year. I'm gonna call a sophomore slump and go under.
What's the win total there?
9.
9?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the under. Give me the under with this team. New coach. I like Justin Herbert. I like what he did last year. I know there are sky high expectations for this team now. And usually when that happens, teams tend to underperform. I think that this is if I could get a 9.5, I'd probably feel more comfortable trying to maybe put a few more shekels on it. But the wide receiver group is great, but if Keenan Allen goes down, you're screwed.
Yeah.
In terms of your pass catchers, defensively, I think they're very strong on the D line.
But like the Bosa, Linval, like they got all that. Like Kenneth Murray, Derwin James, if he can be healthy, you know what I mean? They drafted Asante Samuel Jr. Chris Harris is their nickelback. Like their defense, if they can stay healthy, is fine. I think it's the offense that's the question mark.
Yeah, I do too.
And they had the worst special teams I ever saw in my life last year.
Yeah. The special teams are an issue, but I think that was more on the coach. I think that they'll be better in terms of that department, but I still think that they're going to be in a really tough competitive division. And man, if the Broncos add Aaron Rodgers, this team is in serious trouble.
Yeah, this is the early look ahead at everything happening. Houston Texans, Dan, new coach. Do you know that the under 4.5 is minus 143 right now?
I mean, it really depends on Deshaun Watson, right? Don't you agree?
I mean, what do they do though? Like, I don't think they improved their team at all. I mean, maybe their line got better, but like, I don't. Brandon Cooks. I just don't see what they did. David Johnson, Mark Ingram, okay. Philip Lindsay, you want to run the ball a little more, okay. You drafted Davis Mills, which Tyrod Taylor is probably going to be your guy anyways, right? I don't know what they did, dude. I don't know what Shaq Lawson.
It is a issue. This team is going to suck. It is. It's going to suck. You got to rebuild this thing from the ground up. You're probably going to want to sell off parts. They may end up trading Brandon Cooks at the deadline. The tight end room is a mess. You probably should look at honestly trading Laramie Tunsil for whatever you can get.
Yeah, Marcus Cannon on a contract year, just get rid of him.
It's just this team is a disaster. The problem is if Watson's there, they're winning more than 4 games this year. They will. He should be good enough this year to help you win more games. But if he isn't there, then I think you have to go under, and I think that's why you're seeing the market move heavily on that, unfortunately. So I'm going to pass on that.
God, do they suck?
Yep.
Kiki cute, like oh my God, what did they do, Dante Moncrief? Oh my God, they're gonna suck bad. Anyways, the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings. All right, so the Vikings, nice little team. So here's a good one, right? For a number, 8.5 Minnesota, based off the division. They're a playoff contender. Justin Jefferson had a hell of a year. They still have Thielen. Who did they get? Did they get a third receiver? I'm trying to think.
They did not. They did not. They're rolling with Thielen and Jefferson, and Chad Beebe is their third receiver right now, along with J.T. Johnson.
And then Kellen Mond obviously was their draft pick. Yeah, this is another team. Irv Smith Jr. needs to take a step. So like they got a nice foundation, right? I don't see 8.5 that's juiced over 139. This is a team I got to look at. Like, is Dalvin Cook going to stay healthy?
I feel pretty confident about taking the over 8.5 on this team. The reason being is I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be in the division, and I don't think another team is good enough to win the division besides them.
You're right. They got Patrick Peterson now. I love Chad Surratt. I love that kid at North Carolina. I don't know if he'll play right away, but I'm just looking. Yeah, they picked up Xavier. Like they picked up a lot of talent.
I mean, they have a very, very good defense. Darisaw was their first round pick.
Veteran team.
Irv Smith is going to have a chance to really be the tight end this year. Dalvin Cook with Madison. I think they're going to mix Madison in a lot this year and use kind of a lot of two-back stuff there. I think this team is really good. I do. I mean, I don't love them, but I think this team will win the division just based upon the fact that there's no Rodgers. If Rodgers was traded, if you want to take a bet on Rodgers being traded, maybe the best chance would be go with the Vikings over, because I think that the Vikings over, as long as it's not juiced, and it is juiced on DraftKings, but if you can find a non-juiced Vikings over, might be a good way to play a potential Aaron Rodgers trade, because I still think even if Rodgers isn't traded, 9 wins for that team is very possible. So I think it's not a bad way to approach it.
How about the Cardinals? I like them this year. 8's right now, right 8's the total. I think they regressed at the end of the season. Chase Edmonds, James Conner, that's their running game. I think that they might have to get somebody else at some point. But the defense is loaded, dude. Chandler Jones, JJ Watt, Zach Allen. They got Malcolm Butler now, who are replacing Patrick Peterson. Robert Alford now. Buda Baker's nasty. They got Zaven Collins, who was my guy. Like, that is my guy.
Yeah.
I think their defense is good. They weren't healthy last year. They were not. Running back seems to be the issue for me here, because they signed AJ Green, who might be done. I don't know. DeAndre Hopkins still. I love Christian Kirk, and I think Rondale Moore is going to be a big part of that team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously adding AJ Green is interesting there. The running back room, Jonathan Ward out of Central Michigan a couple years ago. I mean, apparently was very good on the practice squad. I think he'll have a chance to play there as well. Connor is never healthy. Defensively, I think they're okay. Jordan Hicks out of there. Malcolm Butler, obviously replacing JJ Watt, of course. They're okay. This team is right in that 8-win range. I don't think playing the over is a good idea. I just don't. I think that you just gotta live and die by what you have right now. I think staying away from this team is your best option if you're looking for over-unders. That's my opinion. Stay away.
All right, a couple more here, Dan, and then we'll kind of give our predictions, etc. The Raiders are at 7. I haven't heard a word from John Gruden all offseason. What's going on with the Raiders?
I mean, I think that they're in this position where this is really it for them, right? Like, if they don't progress this year, you got to think that they're going to seriously take a look at Gruden. I know the contract is insane, but you got to think they're going to seriously take a look at Gruden this year. Like, the defense was so bad last year with a lot of talent. Like, they're returning a lot of talent. You would expect them to be better this year. The offense, I mean, Ruggs, Waller, Renfro, Edwards, you add Willie Snead and John Brown to that group. Like, you have a lot there, and then you have Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake in the backfield. Like,
So I think Drake's going to help. I think Drake's really going to help.
You have a lot of really good offensive, weapons. The problem is the offensive line is going to take a step back. Adding Leatherwood, we'll see how he does, but you've moved on from a lot of good.
Trent Brown, they ended up bringing Incognito back, but he had his issues last year. Yeah, the line is their problem, and their secondary was putrid last year. Now I think Trayvon Moehrig was a good draft pick for the second round. I think people liked him in the first round. Jonathan Abram was good, but he tore his his collarbone or whatever at one point.
Yep. Again, they had a lot of issues.
They need to be better there. That was their issue last year. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like they tried to make some moves to improve that secondary, but where's their pass rush? Yannick Ngakoue could help.
Ngakoue was a really big addition for them. So,
they let Hurst go. Wow, interesting. Well, I'm just looking at that team: Derek Carr, Mariota. Mariota will be the option if he doesn't go. So I just feel under, Dan. Feel under.
I do too.
Or 7, or right on the number.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be 7 or 8. But the problem is, I have no interest in playing a team that, again. The thing is, I think there's also if Aaron Rodgers is traded to this team, do you think differently? I think obviously you think differently of them. So
yeah,
of course. So so this is the kind of the problem is I think this is another team I would avoid right now because you don't really know where Rodgers is going, and I do think Rodgers is going to be dealt. It just depends on where he goes.
Somebody asked me this week, does the Dallas Cowboys have the best wide receiving core in football?
No.
And I started going around and I'm like, why are they considered? I love it. I think Amari Cooper is fine. He at one point I thought he was great. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, that's kind of their big headed monster there. Their tight ends or whatever. So the total's huge. I'm gonna fade it because 9.5. I don't know if you want to call it huge or not. I'm gonna fade it. But I think Dak is everything. Their defense is better. If Micah Parsons can be anything, Kelvin Joseph, it's just to me, dude. Every year we feel like this with this team.
Yep.
Every year.
Every year, I agree. Every year we feel this team's going to take a step in the right direction, and every year it feels like they take a step back. And I'm done trying to predict. Their offensive line took a big step back last year. Obviously quarterback. Again, after Dak Prescott gets hurt, you end up you decide to go with Garrett Gilbert as your second, quarterback. I think that's a problem. Defensively, Leighton Vander Esch is a problem. They did bring in Keanu Neal, who I think is going to be an interesting addition. I think that he would be really, really good at linebacker. So,
they're stacked with linebackers. How many linebackers do they need? Vander Esch has been hurt every year. They got Micah Parsons, Jalen Smith. Can that be their 3 across? I don't know if they can all play at the same time.
I think if you maybe talk about moving on from Vander Esch, maybe look at Keanu Neal slotting in. I wouldn't doubt that. Look, I think the team is good. I have no interest in playing the over on this team. I think that this is a team that comes down to the health of Dak Prescott, and without a fully healthy Dak Prescott, I don't feel comfortable having any interest in playing this team. I've no interest, so I'm passing on this team.
What about the Chiefs at 12.5? Super Bowl losers, right? Generally bounce back the next year and struggle. They get Orlando Brown at tackle. Joe Thuney's their big pickup.
Yep.
Kyle Long comes out of retirement.
I think they're building their team correctly. I think they are. Again, I think their biggest issue is going to be that running back position. I don't like Edwards-Helaire, just constantly hurt. They added Jerick McKinnon. But I think they built their team right. They built it on the defensive line and the offensive line, and they are building outwards from there. And that is the right way to build a football team, in my opinion.
I do like Nick. I thought Nick Bolton was a good pickup in the draft.
They're also probably going to bring back Duvernay Tardif, who was obviously out doing the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of potential to be very good. Now, the question is, who's going to replace Sammy Watkins as a wide receiver? Is going to be Hardman, going to be Robinson? Is Antonio Callaway going to turn into something? Is Tajay Sharp going to turn into something? Byron Pringle? I mean, so they need another wide receiver to step up there, but I still think, I have no interest in fading this team. I don't. You have the number one quarterback in football. I have no interest in fading this team.
So who makes the playoffs? Who doesn't, Dan? Obviously we can kind of go over our division winners while we do this. AFC, I don't see many changes. I'm not high on the Titans. I know you kind of still like what they're doing, and things aren't set in stone here, but I think Buffalo makes it. I think Cleveland and Baltimore make it. Kind of looking at the Colts, and I think the Chiefs. So now we need another team, right?
Yep.
Patriots.
Okay. I'm gonna go. Let's see. I'm trying to. Everything is just. There we go. AFC. I'll go with the Titans to win the AFC. Win the AFC South again. So I'll of the Titans to go win the AFC South again. All the Colts finishing second in that division. I will have Jacksonville finishing third, Houston finishing fourth. AFC East, I will go Buffalo, New England, Miami, New York. AFC North, I will go Cleveland to win the division. Baltimore to be I'll go Baltimore to win the division. Cleveland to be the runner-up. It's just you can flip-flop them either way.
That's all I did. I flip-flopped. I got Colts and Browns.
And then Pittsburgh third, Cincy fourth. And in the West, I will take Kansas City. Then I will take I'll take Denver, the Raiders. Kansas City. Give me one of the Raiders or the Broncos to finish second in that division, then the Chargers, and then the other side of that Denver Raiders team there to be there. NFC, what do you got, Joe?
I'm gonna go. So I want to take the Giants to win the East, but I'm gonna go Dallas. I think the Packers, despite Rodgers, I'm going them. Tampa Bay, no doubt, and the Rams put a lot with Matt Stafford in, man, and I just think it's going to deliver. So give me the Rams. And then I don't know, another team to make the playoffs. I'm kind of fading New Orleans. So give me the 49ers and Washington.
Okay. I forgot to do my wild card team. So give me the Titans, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs as your division winners. I will take the Browns, and I will take I'll take that second team of the AFC West, either the Raiders or the Broncos to make the give me the Broncos. I'll take the Broncos. I'm going to be a little bit surprising there.
I get the Patriots as the other team there.
Okay.
I got Washington and the 49ers.
All right, so I'm going to take the Rams to win the NFC West. I'm going to take the Bucs to win the NFC South, the football team to win the NFC East, and I'm going to take the Vikings to win the NFC North. I will take the Seahawks, and you know what? I will take the Seahawks, and I will take the I'll take the Saints again.
I feel so square, but I like Tampa Bay to go all the way again.
I definitely do not. It just doesn't happen in football. You just don't see that happen in football.
Like who's gonna beat them? The Rams?
I mean, I think that you're gonna end up seeing, I think there's gonna be a bunch of teams that are gonna be surprisingly defensively, especially too. Again, don't get me wrong. I like Tampa Bay a lot, but I could see the Saints beating them. I can see Seattle beating them. I can see the Rams beating them. I can see the Niners beating them. If the Packers keep Rodgers, I can definitely see them. I mean, I think there's a bunch of teams.
Imagine Brady Garoppolo in a playoff game to go to the Super Bowl.
That would be fucking cool. I'm going to take the Browns to make the Super Bowl this year. And again, I don't love it. This is not a couple years ago where I was super high on the Browns, whatever. I'm just trying to, find maybe a little bit of value. I'll go Cleveland to win the Super Bowl. I don't feel comfortable about that.
So I like the Chiefs, but I'm going to fade it because
it's probably the Chiefs too.
I'm going to fade it only because the team that loses hardly ever goes back besides the Patriots. Cleveland.
I think Kansas City probably wins it. I'm just going to take Cleveland for the value, but I don't feel good about it.
I'll go Buffalo.
No. No, man. They're I'm telling you, they're not that good. I mean, I like Josh Allen a lot, but like they're not that good. They're not that good. The division got better. The whole conference got better. So
conference winner, the Chiefs plus 260, Bills plus 650.
Yes.
I like that 650 right now. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but give me the Browns to win the conference there. Give me the give me the Rams to win the NFC. The Rams were close last year. Give me the Rams to win the NFC, and give me the Rams as the Super Bowl champion. I know Matt Stafford is it's just disgusting. I know what I'm doing right now is disgusting, but that's where I'm going.
Any MVP? Mahomes your favorite, followed by Rodgers, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Stafford, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love anything there. You know, let me sit on the MVP and the Rookie of the Year and stuff, and let me get back to you guys on that. Because I don't love anything with the MVP this year.
Yeah, I don't. I'm even looking. Comeback player of the year. I'm just going to take Dak Prescott because everyone's going to sweat his ass.
That's fair. I can understand that.
How about should we just fade both of these? Trevor Lawrence over under 4,150 yards.
Under.
And then Zach Wilson over under 3,800 yards.
Zach Wilson over under 3,800 yards?
Yeah. Over under.
Under.
And then here's a couple specials here from DraftKings. Chicago Bears quarterback week 1. Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, or Justin Fields?
Andy Dalton. I'll go Dalton.
Minus 200. 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, Josh Rosen, or Nate Sudfeld?
Repeat them again.
Garoppolo or Trey Lance?
Garoppolo.
And then the Patriots, Cam Newton or Mac Jones or Jarrett Stidham?
Cam Newton.
That's all we got for besides the awards and the team futures. That's all they're giving us right now.
All right. We'll get into that next week or so. That was a long podcast for us. That was an hour and a half.
Yeah, we gotta get it going though. You know what I mean?
I know. I get it. I do.
Way to shake off some cobwebs there. All right, Dan. Well, your light's starting to shine, unshine.
Yep. It's getting dark outside.
Just while we're on it, the Jaylen Brown thing. I don't care about. I got two weird takes. One, I hate the news dump at 6:00, and now Mark Murphy's reporting that he's been dealing with this for a while. The news dump comes out at 6 today. The team was getting crushed by the media today. Crushed. They just didn't want to throw that in. Second of all, tell me if this is diabolical. With Jaylen Brown out now, they have 1 star. Does it make things easier for Brad Stevens at all?
No.
Diabolical, right?
No, it
Because
doesn't.
he's been
No.
so good with no talent.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, again, I'm gonna keep telling you guys, Stevens is a really good coach, and he's definitely had a bad year, without a doubt.
Oh, he'll admit
The
that.
whole, the whole team,
He threw I think he threw Ainge under the bus about the whole size thing though yesterday.
Yeah, he definitely did, and he's right. I mean, he is right about that. And again, the roster just isn't that good. It does kind of astound me that what's happening in Boston, with the exception of the Jaylen Brown injury, because that really does end the season, with the exception of the Jaylen Brown industry, does the Miami Heat have basically had the same season as you. Yet you don't hear anything about Spoelstra being the problem over there. Nothing. And it's because what? Did they beat you last year? I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand why the Heat and the Celtics basically have the same season. They had high expectations basically of the same season. One team blames the coach. One team blames the roster. The team that beat you blame the roster. The team that lost blames the coach. I mean, it's very clear what is going on here. The Celtics weren't that good this year. They weren't. The season's over. We can move on from the Celtics, right? We're done. Everyone believes that the season's over now. We don't have to do any more. Oh, I want to see them healthy or any of that crap. It's over. So, look, it was a shitty year. Rebuild the damn roster, and let's see what happens next year. That's my suggestion.
Well, then I'll let you know happily that I have money on both Brooklyn and the Lakers to win the championship right now. One's at 300 and one's at 400.
Good.
So no matter what happens, I'm going to win money if one of those teams wins.
Hopefully.
It can't be another team, though.
Right. I'm aware of that.
Has to be those two, and then we're all in. By the way, the Bruins win total, 71.5, is in jeopardy today.
Point total.
71.5. Did you get a text about this today?
I did. I did. And I told him, unfortunately, there's no way to hedge it.
There's no way? You got to let it ride, bro?
Yep, got to ride a line for tonight. Basically, root against the Bruins tonight, and then hope they, and head to the next time.
So
that's it.
All right, dude. Well, we're back. Thursday night?
Thursday night.
Thursday morning with the great Toucher and Rich, which is always a phenomenal time, Dan. You never know what will happen on the Toucher and Rich show.
Very, very interesting over there.
Trades for quarterbacks and cornerbacks and who's breaking stories and who's not. Who's got a boner for the Patriots? Who sucks and who's a prick?
I'm staying out of that. I'm staying out of literally all of it. Out of all of it.
I'm just over here stirring.
I know. That's what you do. I'm just staying out of it.
I'm just stirring the pot. All right, we gotta go. All right, this has been a long podcast. Thanks for everybody for listening. Again, this all could change. Aaron Rodgers could be on the move. It could be some other signings. But this is a quick look ahead here, and we'll know. By the way, Bruins, they'll play either Pittsburgh or Washington. We know we got Tampa Bay, Florida. So we're gonna get NHL. I'm ready, man. I'm ready for that.
Yep, and we know. We gave out a bunch of PPs today. We'll give out I've been hearing a complaining about a lack of show, PPs for the day of. So I guess we have to start doing that too.
Yeah, and I just think our defense on it, I get it. If you want to come on, hey guys, what happened? You used to get picks every show. It's just the everyday baseball bet. It's a grind. You know what I mean? Like it's a spot. I already told you I'm sitting on my hands. I got 1 week to sit on my hands. 1 week. And I might dabble a couple to see where dudes plays. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the bankroll is opening up, I think, this weekend, Dan.
I agree. Picks coming this week.
All righty. That is it. He's Dan Lifshatz. I'm Joe Murray. We'll talk to you guys on Thursday. This has been another edition of the Over Under Podcast.
Who you got?